And Comcast, great. Just finished my sandwich. That was yummy. And thank you all for being here with us today. This is a great group. I think probably the biggest turnout I've seen in a while. So maybe Zoom does help with some things, huh? And I think it's probably a more important year than ever that we do this and hear the updates from all of the utility companies and other programs, and that as many of us who work directly with clients who are, low income, moderate income, hear this, because we know people have been more challenged than ever. The last 18 months plus, people were already struggling in our community, all too many. And then with COVID, people still are. And so anything we can do to help, so that, that they can take advantage of the programs that are available to them, and instead spend that money on their housing and food and healthcare and other really important things. That's what we're all here to do, right? And United Way is proud to just be a partner with you all and be a convener for this work. And so again, thank you each, and thanks Amy and her intern team for the coordination of this this year and every other year. So glad to be here, and thanks again.
Thank you, Efrat. All right, so there should be in the chat a PDF. If you've just joined us, there is an info packet for today that has just a little bit about each of our companies represented here. It's also on our website, and this recording is going to be posted. So please share this information with any of your colleagues that you think could benefit from knowing this service network. It's a complicated network of pieces that you have to know about to really help someone navigate effectively. So we want to make sure the information is there, available, and easy to find. So with that, Comcast is going to go first, and I'm trying to type the order of speakers in the chat, so then you'll know when you're going. All right, so Matt, go ahead, take it away.
Okay, are you going to present a presentation or on the screen, or I can just talk to it?
Yeah, you can just talk. If you have something, I can make you a co-host. I didn't get a presentation, so.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
So thank you, everyone. And we, as Comcast, we understand the importance of whether it's school children, whether it's just parents trying to work from home because of the pandemic, distance learning, access to healthcare, and doctors on demand kind of stuff. We understand the importance of having broadband at home. So we're the largest broadband provider in Indiana. So we cover Bloomington, parts of Monroe County, but also the surrounding counties. So all the way over to Columbus, Bartholomew County, down to Bedford, up to Morgan and Martinsville. So significant area of South Central Indiana. So one of the things that we found, that there are three main reasons why a household, whether it's just adults only, a single person, or they have children, why they do not subscribe to internet. One is the cost. It's just too costly for them. Two is they lack a device in the home. So they don't have a computer. They don't have something to access the internet with. And then three is they don't understand the internet. They don't know how to use it. They could be a little scared about it. They just don't have the skills. They were not, didn't utilize it before. So Comcast has provided a program called Internet Essentials. And so to tackle that cost mechanism, it costs only $9.95 a month. So it's less than $10 a month. There's no fee for the modem. So the modem is complimentary as part of the service. There's no taxes. And in fact, due to the pandemic, we provide the first 60 days free. So they don't even see a bill until the third month. Now, there are other programs, US programs that are targeted to help people connect, to make it even easier. So one of those is called the FCC has created a program called the Emergency Broadband Benefit program. And what that does is a qualifying family, you apply through the FCC, and a qualifying family can get up to $50 off or paid towards their internet service, plus the modem can be paid for through that program. And then they can get up to $100 towards the purchase of a computer or tablet. So a device, a digital device to access the internet with. Now, in the case of Internet Essentials, if they go to our website, which is internetessentials.com, it's easy to remember. So internetessentials.com, there's a button right on the front page to where they can actually click on that and apply for that EBB through the federal government, and they qualify there, and automatically they would get Internet Essentials for free. So they wouldn't have to pay the $9.95 a month. It would be paid for free. Now, if for some reason they have a higher speed at a higher cost, like I said, that EBB program will pay up to $50. So if you have a 200 megabit service, let's say, and so a faster service, and you wanted to use that EBB program, then you could get $50 towards that, plus the money towards a device, a laptop or a computer. The second thing, besides, so we spoke about the access to a computer as well. As part of Internet Essentials, we do offer new Dell laptop computer for $150. So it's a much less expensive than buying, directly through a Best Buy or online. We actually subsidize that, so it's only $150. And then finally, at the internetessentials.com website, we offer training. So there's all kinds of different training classes out there. And in fact, we've had digital literacy classes and computer classes that have been hosted by different boys and girls clubs, by adult learning clubs, so forth and so on, to where they utilize these lessons as part of their education. So they're really good, well done, and it will help everyone understand, surf the web safely, how to utilize the web, how to use a computer, so forth and so on. So there's quite a bit of material out there to learn from. So what we're trying to do is, so anywhere we have our network, so anywhere Comcast offers service, we offer Internet Essentials. And we are in the process of working with state and local governments, even federal, but state, local governments on expanding even more service areas into rural Monroe County. Like I say, Bartholomew, we're all around in South. But so we are trying to expand this availability of this program even more. So I would just ask that if you go out to internetessentials.com, you'll see the main page there. But at the top right-hand corner, there's a link that says Partner Community. And all that, you click on that, anybody can go in there, you can register, and you're not registering for anything. You're not going to be marketed to, you're not going to be bombarded with spam or anything. What that's for is, if you register, you can order brochures, you can order materials about the program to share at, whether it's at your church or in Sunday school, at school, as part of the the attendance desk. I've seen some of them do that. So all the kids and even some parents come to the attendance desk, and you can share it there. So Boys and Girls Clubs. We work with all kinds of organizations to share information about this program because we want to make sure everyone is connected and they have access to broadband. Virtually every job that, in the future will have some form of internet/technology required of it. So if you have a young person that's going through school and not being exposed heavily to technology and learning how to use it appropriately and most effectively, they're going to be behind when it comes to the job market of the future. So that's all I wanted to say about the program. And like I said, I put the my contact information out there. If you want me to speak to at one of your meetings, your organization's meetings, or any venue, I'd love to have that opportunity. So that's it. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Matt. Great information. And thanks for joining us. And whenever you need to hop off, we'll do questions. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat. And then if we're not able to get to that, we will at the end. But I want to make sure all the speakers have a chance and try to keep it moving. So Julie with SCAP, would you like to go ahead?
Hi, thanks, Amy. Can everybody see the screen with the information about our program? Or no? Oh, wait, here we go. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thanks. So I'm going to fly through part of this. I'm from South Central Community Action Program, managing the Energy Assistance Program. Some of you are real familiar. I deal with you regularly. Some of you maybe not so much, but I will tell you about our Energy Assistance Program, kind of the gist of it. And you'll notice on this slide, new this year, and new this year, we have a water program going along with our Energy Assistance Program. And so let's see. So South Central Community Action Program, we've been here for a really long time. We have several different programs that we administer. Last year for energy assistance, we were able to help over 3,300 households, an average benefit of over $600. So, there's some paperwork involved. The application process isn't probably the easiest of things, but ultimately worth it in helping keep members of the low-income community warm and connected over the winter months. September 13th, we sent out a mailing with application packets for over 2,500 households. And then last Friday, October 1st, we were able to send out an additional 800 and some application packets. For anyone who didn't already receive one in the mail, they are welcome to contact us to let us know they would like one. And I can give you information later on how they can do that. The Energy Assistance Program and Water Program officially begin November 1st. That's the date that we can begin contacting vendors on behalf of clients. That's the date that the funding is in place and we can begin applying benefits to clients' utility accounts. We are allowed up to 55 days to process a client's application, so it can be a somewhat lengthy process. So we encourage people to apply early and get in that line to be processed so we can get to them quicker. December 1st begins Moratorium Protection, where any of our regulated utilities are not allowed to disconnect service between December 1st and March 15th for anyone on the Energy Assistance Program due to non-payment. And then May 16th of 2022 will be the last day that someone can apply for this year's Energy Assistance Program. I already have people calling and worried that they're going to miss the application period. I think people think they have to get it in before November 1st, but actually they can get it in anytime between now and May 16th. Obviously, we encourage people to apply early to get all the benefits that one can get from energy assistance, including moratorium protection, like Vectren has universal service credit, or CenterPoint universal service credit, things like that, that the sooner you apply, the longer you have to benefit from those different sorts of things. Here, the program is based on income, and we've gone this year to up to 60% of the state median income for eligibility. In the past, it had been sort of up to 150% and 60% of state median income. This year, for all households, regardless of the household size, it's based on this. And this chart kind of gives you an idea of what that looks like. A household of 5 can be earning up to just over $60,000 in a year and be eligible for our program. Of course, someone must be a resident of Indiana with active service, utility service, to be eligible for the program. Our energy assistance funds can be used for connection, reconnection, all those kinds of things, but never ever can it be used toward a deposit on a client's account. And so a few or more years ago, it became policy that for even clients whose utilities are included in their rent, they can be eligible for our program as long as they're paying at least $1 in rent. And in those cases, they must have a landlord affidavit indicating that they're paying at least $1 in rent, and then they can be considered eligible for the program. The benefits size is determined by 4 different categories on a matrix. Poverty level, that's income related to the household size. Dwelling type, the type of dwelling you're in can sort of help determine your energy burden. And so different points are applied for, someone who's in a single site house as opposed to someone whose utilities are included in rent. Maybe the person whose utilities are included in rent has a little bit less of an energy burden, so they'll get fewer points on the matrix. At-risk status, any household that has a member 60 and over, 5 and under, disabled, or a veteran will be eligible for an additional $100 benefit toward their utilities. And then primary heating fuel source is the 4th category on the matrix. Depending on how someone's heating, propane, wood, those kind of bulk fuels can run quite a bit higher than electric and natural gas. So they're going to get a larger benefit. And then in addition to that heating benefit, a standard $125 electric benefit will be added as a way to keep the heating system operational. For this year's program, the maximum benefit is $1,250 and the minimum is $225. And that's just using energy assistance funding, because as you'll see, we've also got this year some Arpa funding, the American Rescue Plan Act money that can be used for anyone with past due amounts on their utilities. So how can someone apply for this program? Once they have their application, they can mail it to their local SCAP office, either here on 15th Street or in any Brown County, Owen County, or Morgan County offices. They can drop it off. Here we've got a mail slot at the main office. Each of the county offices have a secure lockbox that someone can drop their application into. They can scan and email it to this eep@nscap.org address. And this is also a way anyone can get in touch with us. It's monitored by several of us. So as emails come in from people asking questions or requesting applications and things, it's a good way to get in touch with us. They can fax it to the number here. Just remind them to fax both sides. Oftentimes, for whatever reason, the backside of pages are omitted on faxes. And they can also apply online using this link for our online application portal. In that case, they must be able to upload supporting documentation as part of their application. And so, again, anyone who hasn't already received an application can contact us any of these ways and request for us to send them one. What's needed: application must be completely filled out, including everyone in the household, photo ID for the applicant, and that's the person who's signing the application. Generally, and there are workarounds for most things in energy assistance, but generally we need a social security card for each member in the household. If they don't have one, we can generally work with that in some way. So don't let that stop someone from applying, as long as there's at least one member in the household who can provide social security number verification, they should be good. It might skew the household size to income ratio, but we'll work with them as in any way we can to help get them signed up. And then income documentation for earned income. New this year, it's the last pay stub received the month before application month. Kind of confusing, but we're going at it to try to get 3 complete months of income to get an average to calculate their income to ensure they're eligible for the program. Fixed income, we just need a current award letter. And for zero income, we've got an income verification affidavit form that we provide for the client to fill out, indicating they've had zero income in whatever months. We obviously need their utility bills, the most recent, their electric, their heating, and their water, if it's in arrears. And for the water, I mean, the heating and electric bills, we just need those when they apply for the program, whether they're in arrears or not, and the full statement is what we need. Landlord affidavit only needed for any clients whose utilities are included in their rent. Otherwise, we don't need a landlord affidavit. And then there's a SCAP agency referral form that we like for clients to return with their application so that we can help them get involved with our other programs if needed. So new this year, the Arpa funding that I mentioned briefly, the American Rescue Plan Act, in response to the pandemic, there is an automatic supplemental Arpa benefit for all eligible EAP households. And it's a total benefit of $350 that will be split evenly between the heating and the electric. So if someone heats with electric, it's going to be the full $350 toward their electric account. Otherwise, it'll be automatically split between the two. And then besides the supplemental ARPA, there's an arrearage benefit with ARPA funding. So for anything that our energy assistance crisis funding can't cover, the arrearage benefit from ARPA will kick in, and there's no limit to how much we can use for that. And that's meant to get people who have lost income due to the pandemic caught up. So, so we're really glad to have that this year. And then new also is the LIWAP, Low Income Housing Water Assistance Program. So for any client, when they apply for energy assistance, if they're currently in arrearage of $50 or more with their water or wastewater, we can help them. Program's brand new. We just got trained on it. We don't even actually have yet the official guidance from the state. Hope to have that later this week. So we're working on getting that all ironed out. But if you know anybody who has a past due of $50 or more on their water wastewater bill, let them know to let us know when they apply for energy assistance. And it's all one application. It's the energy assistance application with a little part at the top that includes information about the water and whether they're applying for that, as well as their utilities. And the eligibility is the same. So if you're approved for EAP, you're also approved for the water program. Also new this year, our friends at the Monroe County Public Library have graciously agreed to partner with us and will be providing assistance and their computers for anyone who wishes to apply online. And they've got, free scanners to use for people who are applying online and will need to upload their supporting documentation. They'll also have paper applications available. They won't know the policy of the program, but they'll be able to help with the technology end of it as far as applying online and or offering a paper application for them to fill out. And that'll be available at both the downtown branch and the Ellettsville. And then 211, the state is partnering with 211 again for sort of verbal assistance when someone's trying to apply online and maybe having difficulty with the technical part of that. They can walk them through that. So if you have a client or know someone who wants to apply online because they'd like to do it from home, but they're having difficulty knowing exactly how to proceed, have them call 211 and ask for that help. So a couple things to know about the program. It's an annual program. We get asked this all the time. Well, I applied last year. Do I really need to fill everything out again? Yes, they do. Things change every year and we need to be able to determine eligibility annually. It's essentially a one-time benefit that they'll get. The bulk of it will go toward their heating utility with some toward their electric, but there's always crisis available too. So if they need to come back one other time during the season because they've received a disconnect notice, they're welcome to do that, and we'll try to help then as we're able to. We always encourage clients to pay their bills so they don't get behind, even though they're receiving the EAP benefit, and even if they're protected under moratorium, we don't want them to not pay for those months and then come March 16th they're shut off. And at that point, maybe we're not able to help because we've already expended all funding they're eligible for. So that's one of those important things that we let everybody know. For anyone who does not have a working heat source, we're not able to apply the EAP benefit. They might still be eligible for the program, but not for that benefit until their heat source is working. And with proof of that, we could then apply the benefit. And or for anyone who has an inoperable heat source and they own their home and there's someone in the household who's considered at risk, we could likely help them with our emergency repair and replace program. And that's a great program. We've been able to help several households over the last, I think, 3 years that this has been around. Using an average benefit of $5,000 per household to either repair and or replace their heating system. So that's something that we always want everyone to know about. They absolutely must be a homeowner. There's some room for, if there's not anyone at risk, exceptions can be made. And then how can you all help? Just letting people know about us, let them know we're here, and in the ways that we can help, encourage them to apply. And the ways they can do that, I kind of mentioned before, but they can email us at this Energy Assistance Program, eap@nscap.org email address. They can call us, choose the option for EAP, message us on our Facebook page, check our agency website for the information that's there, and they can apply online. That went live on Friday. So they can use that now, and or they can visit the Monroe County Public Library and apply online there with assistance from the staff at the library. So yeah, it's a big year for EAP. All that additional funding that we're super excited to have and hope people will know about and apply and benefit from. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Julie. One quick question was, if a child is the only person with a valid social security number, can the household be considered eligible? You're mute. You're muted.
Sorry, thanks. They can. The concern can sometimes be with that if we're still counting income for those ineligible people. So if it's a couple of adults and a child and both, the adults have income, it could potentially put that household over the income guidelines. So that's why, as long as some people just don't have a social security number to provide. And so, you know, like I said, we'll work with them in any way we can. But for someone who's lost it or can't find it, or, you know, we encourage them to apply for a new one or whatever, because it's going to likely affect the size of the benefit. So.
Okay, thanks. And one more question before your, would renters with a pending Indiana emergency rental assistance application for utility assistance still be eligible for this program?
They will. And, you know, there are a lot of these opportunities to catch up on your bills happening right now. And so as far as IERA and EAP, they're two totally separate. You can apply for both, be eligible for both, benefit from both, and we're fine with that.
Okay, I see more questions, but I want to make sure we have other presentations. So
I can work
if
on
don't get
answering those in the chat.
Okay, great. That would be awesome. And Tonda, I think that Matt had to leave for your question about Internet Essentials. So I will follow up on that and send that out with some follow-up after the event information. So Edie Henderson from City of Bloomington's Utilities.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming today. The City of Bloomington has partnered with the CAP office for several years. I've been here almost 15 years, and we've been doing this partnership since before I started. We do try to assist our customers with their water bill, and that would also include a sanitation charges if they are a sanitation customer as well. What happens is they physically have to qualify for the Energy Assistance Program. They don't have to necessarily be on the program. They just have to qualify for the program. So they physically have to do whatever you have to qualify for the Energy Assistance Program. They must be an active City of Bloomington customer. It can't be that we assist them with an old bill so that they can get service and et cetera. They can get pledges and et cetera for that. We only help with the active current last 2 months bills. So they can't be shut off for non-payment already. If they have, they do need to start, going with other social services to try to get some assistance to get them reinstated. And then we could possibly help them the next 2 following months. What happens is we'll help them with a 2-month bill. If there are any late fees or anything, reconnect fees that show up on those 2-month bills, they would need to pay those before CAP releases the voucher at the end of the 2nd month's due date for that bill. So as an example, if they are getting assistance with the September, October bill, anything that is due from August previous has to be paid before they can release the voucher at the end of October on the due date for the October bill. So we do, if they can't pay anything that's due and they can't get the voucher, we do offer payment agreements they can sign, and we can stretch their bill out for up to 4 months where they would owe the monthly bill, late fees, and their agreed amount bill as well. And then once they get that paid, we can start the process again and see if we can help them when it is their time or when it is they're ready to get CAP assistance. It's their responsibility to reach out to the CAP office. It's not an automatic, oh, it's their time again, we can help them. So we help them with a 2-month bill, and then they have to pay their own for 3 months, or another agency can assist. And then we can help them again with another 2 months after those 3 months have passed. So we do help with customers that are sanitation only. We help customers that are sewer only. So there are different categories that we do help, but as long as they have water bills that go through us, we can help them. If they live in an apartment where they have a third-party billing, we don't assist with that. It has to be one of our customers, since it is our budgeted money each year that we are using to pay these water bills. So for the year of 2022, we have budgeted $50,000. So we do look forward to helping as many as we can for sure on that. So pretty much, yeah. As far as for the sanitation fees, we do pay those. We do not pay for extra pickups or large item pickups or anything like that. So the customer would have to pay those prior to the voucher being released at the end of the month. So pretty much that's it. It's the same as it's been the last few years, so nothing, no bells or whistles changed this year. We look forward to working with Cap and Julie and everyone there with the new exciting water program that they're gonna have. So we've got some little kinks we need to work out on that as far as, you know, timing and et cetera, and how to get the information over to them. But I think it's awesome that you guys are gonna be including that in one of your, as a utility. I think that's wonderful. So, but if anyone has any questions, definitely let me know.
Thank you, Edie. All right. Let's see. Tim Jett from Duke. I have you up for next.
All right. Hello.
Tim, I'm going to add, and for everyone, I'm going to add the, Tim sent me a handout, so I'll add that in the chat. So if you want to reference to that.
Yeah.
Go
All
ahead.
right. Thank you very much. Yeah. So on that sheet, it's kind of like ED. It's kind of the same kind of information, and I'll just go over it. So on the front, we have our contact information to our Duke Energy agency line. We only ask that you do not give this number out for customers. Kind of bogs down the line so that we can't really help our agencies. And then it also has information if you want to send transmittals to our energy assistance email address. And then also to our payments department, we have Patty Frank, and her alternate backup is Pam Smead. They handle all of our pledges, vouchers, things that come in through our payments department. And then my information if you need me to go over any information that I cover today. And then so the Helping Hand, if they're eligible with the EAP program, they're eligible for assistance in that. And I'll also get into the moratorium that Julie kind of mostly covered in her PowerPoint. But for customers starting out, security deposits with Duke Energy, customers will go through a credit check. So it's not mandatory that they pay a security deposit, but based on a credit check, deposits for their accounts, they will not exceed 1/6 of the estimated cost of where they're moving to, whether it's a house, apartment, anything like that. And then deposits will earn, once we get that deposit, deposits earn 2% interest for the life of that deposit. So you will get the deposit back plus whatever interest that's occurred on any final bill. So payment plans will cover the budget billing. And so that's broken down into two budget billing payment plans, quarterly and annually. And these, somewhat like the deposit, are based off of the average usage of that residence that you are living at. So if you are just moving in, we recommend that you go on the quarterly budget billing program, since the usage is not kind of curbed to what you're using yet. And the way that quarterly works is, so for 3 months for that quarter, you will pay that flat rate. And based on that flat rate, let's say it's $100, you'll pay $100 for those 3 months. And depending if your usage is over or under that $100, the next 3 months, it will readjust itself to either help raise if you're using over that $100, or it'll help lower because you're probably getting a credit because you're overpaying. So, and then the annual is that basically same plan, but it's annual. So for 11 months, you will pay that flat rate. And then on the 12th month, instead of adjusting like the quarterly does, you will either pay the difference in what you used, or you'll get that credit back. So if you've been using over what you've been paying, they'll send you a bill in that 12th month letting you know what the difference is. And each month it'll let you know if you've been using higher or lower. So if you need to, you can call us and we can adjust it as that year goes on, just so on that 12th month, you're not overwhelmed by anything. And also, if you've been using under what you've been paying, you're going to get that credit in that 12th month. And so for the next year, however long, you'll eat that credit for the next few months or whenever that comes back out. The agreements. So last year, I know we discussed, because of the COVID, we've been doing agreements for Indiana customers. We're only 3-month installments. But I remember last year, due to COVID, we extended that to 3, 6, 9, and 12, in some cases, 12-month agreements for those larger bills. Now that has since ended, I believe, in June or July of this year, and we've moved back to the 3. However, customers are still on that agreement that they set up, even if they do default on it after the June or July stopping date of the 3, 6, 9, or 12 month. So if a customer defaults on an agreement today and they had a 12-month agreement, if they pay the default amount of that agreement, they can still get back on that 12-month agreement, even though it's technically after the date we stopped it, because they started it beforehand, before we stopped that. So customers are eligible for those agreements. Next is our life support program. Life support program just lets us know that somebody at the household is on a life-saving device that uses electricity. And the way we establish that is we'll send you the life support paperwork and you coordinate it with your doctor, get their information and send it back. And what it is it doesn't stop any disconnections for non-payment from happening, but it does add notifications and just more information to help that household with a life-saving device. Just more information and better knowledge of what they can do to avoid disconnection. And that is, we send out re-verifications once a year or once every 12 months. And all that is once you're signed up, you don't have to guess when the 12 months is. We'll send it out to you. We'll say the 12 months is here. Just have your doctor re-verify it. This is the address. This is the customer. And then send it back in. And then you're up for another 12 months. And then along with that is the medical certificates for Indiana customers. It is 2 medical certificates in a rolling 12 months. And in each medical certificate gets a customer 10 business days of uninterrupted service. All it is a doctor on it could be a pad that looks like this, their prescription pad, a piece of paper, letterhead, anything like that. Just fax it in, let us know the customer's name, their account number, and their address, just so we know how to look it up and find it in our system. Once we find it, we'll go ahead and suspend collections or any disconnection for the next 10 business days. And customers are allowed 2 in a rolling 12 months. And then the last, which, like I said, Julie covered most of the moratorium perfectly. Like I said, December 1st to March 15th, but obviously if you meet the eligibility, you can sign up as early. I have here October 1st, but apparently it could be earlier than that. So the moratorium, that if you are in that moratorium, you will not be disconnected for non-payment during that time, no matter what. It doesn't need a reoccurring form or anything like that. Just that one-time pledge will keep you in that moratorium for that time period. And that is all that I have right now. Is there any questions or?
There was one question. Thank you, Tim. IU Health has been using DEMW agency guarantees at dukeenergy.com to pledge on accounts. And Cindy wants to know if they should use the email on the flyer that you sent instead, or is that still a good address?
It's still a good address. The website, is that, because they've been working on the website and now it can do a lot more things. So has the website, if it's been working, I would suggest you can probably use both. And I guess the email would be good if for some reason the website went down or you needed that backup.
Okay, thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Emily from Centerpoint.
Hello, how's everybody doing? Doing good. So, Amy, I'm glad you said Centerpoint because I always want to tell people that we are formerly Indiana Gas, formerly Sigico, formerly Vectren, and now we're Centerpoint. So name change, but still the great service that I feel like we've always offered. So much like Tim with Duke, some of the same programs we are administering here at Centerpoint. And so, you know, the payment arrangements and extensions is probably the high percentage of calls for that, especially in this world of COVID. We do offer several different types of arrangements. We typically, you know, do our short term first to try to make that customer whole again as soon as possible. But again, we have the 3-month, the 6-month, and in certain circumstances, we can go 12-month pay arrangements. And we always want to make sure that the customer understands that they are responsible for the pay arrangement, a monthly amount as well as their current charges. And sometimes in the tyranny of the moment, they don't hear that. But we do try to talk to them. And in some cases, typically, if a customer has broken a pay arrangement within that 12-month period, they are not offered another one for another 12 months. But again, depending on the circumstance, we sometimes can work with them to get them back on the arrangement. So some of the other programs that we have the medical certificate again, as Tim mentioned for Duke, that 10-day extension to, you know, help the customer out if they have some kind of medical issue, especially if it's something that's urgent or they weren't planning for. And then we do have the life support program as well. And Tim, I'm glad you said that about it does not prevent a disconnection. And sometimes I think customers feel like if they have their account flagged or if they have this medical certificate, that it prevents a disconnect, but it does not. So if they feel like they're you know, in need of some more assistance or they need a hold on the account, something like that, they just need to call our customer service team and we are able to do that for them. We also have various ways to pay customer bills, auto pay, the mobile bill pay, and the budget bill. Ours is a little different, whereas we do calculate that on a 12-month basis. And so for our northern customers, we normally do the recalculations in June. And so a budget bill, I always try to encourage people, you know, families maybe that, you know, have some multiple other bills to pay, our senior citizens, sometimes first-time college students, if this is a great program because it can help them budget for other needs. And then we have our third-party billing. A lot of times if our senior citizens or elderly customers are turned off, a lot of times it's not that they don't have the funds, but they just have simply forgotten that bill is you know, has come into the mailbox. So if the customer authorizes a third party on their account, the third party will get a bill at the same time the customer gets a bill to just make that gentle nudge that, you know, hey, your bill is due in the due date. Julie mentioned the Universal Service Program. Of course, if a customer qualifies for EAP assistance, they will get the Universal Service Program credit automatically. Just depends on how much their EAP assistance was. So they don't have to call and sign up. It just automatically goes onto their account. We do encourage our agency partners who make pledges on accounts to be able to use our agency extranet system. This is just kind of a copy of what it looks like. If you're interested in that, just shoot me an email and I'll send you a form. It's really seamless because our customer service team is still working from home. And so sometimes the hold times are long, but if an agency is needing to make a pledge, they can, with their credentials, they can go on our system and make that pledge. They can look at bills, kind of look at the payment history of that customer without having to wait on hold to talk to a customer service rep. So really encouraging that right now. We also provide our energy savings tips wherever we are in English and Spanish. We put those inside mailings, and when we're at various resource fairs, we always make that that information available to the customer. We have partnered with Clear Result, and they do our healthy home energy assessments for us. And I know that in Bloomington, they did a multi-family work project where they partnered up with the landlords to give some incentive and some credits to the landlords when they installed new equipment. And this was mainly in apartments or places where people were renting. The people that administer that program they're familiar with the needs and wants in Bloomington. And so I'm excited to know that we are providing some healthier homes for the customers right there in Bloomington. That's pretty much a Southern or a South project, but they have extended it to our Bloomington customers. One other thing that I'm really proud to say is that CenterPoint was one of the first utility companies to be able to use Charity Tracker. And many of you all, United Way partners and some of our other agency partners, are you familiar with Charity Tracker, just by show of hands? Anybody familiar with that? So Charity Tracker is awesome because when you're working with families who are low income, a lot of times transportation may be the issue. And so when they are required to go to several different agencies, that sometimes can be cumbersome. If your agency is a member of Charity Tracker, it's a free service. That way, let's say Julie can see that a family has been to the water department, they have been to Trinity Lutheran Church, so she's not going to send them there because she can see that those agencies and organizations have already given credit or helped that customer in some way. And so it's a really good resource, and we ask to be in it for the same thing so that our customer service team is not telling the customer to go to Catholic Charities and Salvation Army. If we know that they've already been there, we won't send them there. They were a little apprehensive, I must say, to allow a utility company to be in this program. And I assured them that we weren't being predatory. We weren't trying to shake the customer down, but that we were trying to be helpful to the customer without, again, sending them to all of these different places. Aunt Bertha is another kind of a 211 on steroids that we are partnered up with as well. And so if I'm working with the customer in particular, I can put the information for that customer on the Aunt Bertha website with a file that I created for the customer. So that way, again, if anyone's looking to see what services the customer already has or what benefits we're able to give from CenterPoint standpoint, it's right there on the screen. We are also doing a Community Connect in Putnam County. And we had early conversations in Bloomington about that. We're doing one in Putnam County on October the 23rd. So if you're working with anybody or know anyone who lives in Greencastle, it's like a resource fair on steroids as well, where you can get everything from health screens, lunch, IDs, all of those administered in one day. We're going to hold that at the fairgrounds. It's a Saturday from 9 until 2. I'm also a Bridges Out of Poverty trainer, and I do poverty simulations. And so if you're ever in need of any of those, reach out to me. And the last thing this is one thing that I think is really important. We have partnered up with reentry programs here in Vanderbilt County. So when people have been incarcerated, or if they're coming out of an addiction program and coming back into the community, I like to meet with those folks. A lot of times they're hesitant to call the utility company to see if they have an old bill. We like to encourage them to do that, to look at their bill to see what we can do on our end to help them just regain their life and get back into the community. So so that's what I got. Oh, one more thing. This is not CenterPoint related, but I don't know if you are familiar with Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I get a lot of free things off their website. And so I think it's really helpful when we're working with clients behind on bills. This is kind of a little journal that customers can keep just to try to regulate and see what they're spending their money on. They've got all kind of free things out there. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily. Yeah, that's a great tip on Charity Tracker. I don't know if a lot of people around here are using that. So it's a good point to be made, and hopefully we can get more organizations utilizing that. So I'm glad they let you in.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
All right. And we have Tammy from SciREMC.
Hello. I'll just go briefly. Many of the programs that we have already been discussed, including prepaid options and budget billing. So I guess we just encourage members to go on our website to review those options and then give us a call to discuss, just so we can kind of put them in a program that maybe would be most beneficial. And then we have a variety of tools and platforms for members to make payments and track usage. I think just having those opportunities and those education moments to share information and energy efficiency tips are always helpful, as we're going into the fall and winter season, that are helpful to members. So just want to share a few of those things, but most of ours are already on our website for review. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Tammy. So I'd like to just circle back and see if anyone has any other questions. I think we have mostly addressed them all, but maybe even hanging on to a question. So we have a few more minutes. Thank you for everyone making that as quick as possible, but I want to make sure we get all of our questions and everything answered if we can. So. And thank you for everyone answering and adding things in the chat. I see some networking going on in Greene County and some good resources being shared. So thank you for participating there as well. I know it's I have a hard time sometimes going back and forth. All right. Oh, and yes, so Aunt Bertha here is locally known as Helping Bloomington Monroe, and we've had an additional link there added to the chat. So, well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming and participating in this event. This is my anniversary event. This was the first thing that I did when I took this job. So this is my 6th one. And I love it still as much as I did the first time. So I love seeing all of you and sharing this great information and really being able to help our community members stay warm and safe all year long. So thank you all for what you do and helping everyone. And I look forward to seeing you all again next year. Take care.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.